A lot of sex.
A lot of sex. So what makes a healthy relationship and how have you applied that personally? Especially during COVID. Vodka.
And wine.
Last one, what would you do for love?
Anything for my son. For a man, they come a dime a dozen. So.
Squid Games. Squid Games for love, yeah.
Yeah? Squid Games for love, I love it. Thank you guys. Hello fellow flows and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, then welcome. I am Just Flo. I am a life coach and intuitive healer. A life coach is somebody that helps and guides you to reach your goals. An intuitive healer is somebody that reads the energy in order to guide you on what you're currently emanating. So I've combined the two, and then that's what makes a life coach / intuitive healer. So today we're going to be talking about relationships. And what we did last week, and when I say we, it's me and the person that was behind the camera, we went out into the streets and we asked people what consists of a healthy relationship and what would you do for love. I also asked this on my Instagram, and I got very beautiful answers. But what we've noticed is that during the pandemic, because this was specifically during COVID that I was targeting, there was an increase in separation. So we want to get to the source of why that is. In the relationship video that I last did, we talked about what consisted of a healthy relationship, but we didn't talk about being aware of the self in a relationship and what your perspective does to that relationship as well, right? So is it the actual relationship that's a problem, or is it your perspective of that relationship that's a problem? Because we say all these beautiful things to have a healthy relationship, but why is it not seeping into our actions? Why is it not seeping into what we know to be a healthy relationship, right? So let's get into it. So first off, let's see the answers that we got from outside. Relationship, and how have you applied it during COVID?
Compromise make a healthy relationship.
How did you apply that?
I applied by trying to help my wife out as much in the house. I cook a lot, so she don't have to stress herself out.
Okay, that's good. I like that. What else makes a healthy relationship?
A lot of sex.
A lot of sex. Okay.
Yes. Because if you're not getting it at home, you know you're gonna try and get it somewhere else.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So compromise
And sex.
and sex. Communication.
Communication. How have you applied that one?
How do I apply communication?
Yeah.
Well, we talk a lot.
Okay.
We have fun, we talk, we laugh, we share a lot of stuff we see on the internet with each other.
Memes. No, it's just okay. And what would you do for love?
What would I do for love? Well, you shouldn't have to do anything for love. Love should be just natural. So, for me to do something for love, there's nothing that I can say that I would do for it. Because it should come natural.
Yes, I 100% agree. The first man's answer truly emanated what it means to love somebody and to be able to compromise in order to give that person what they need during that time of tension. And if you guys are both doing that for each other, then you really release all that tension and that stress that is coming from the external and that's trying to seep into your relationship, and you're able to overcome the challenges. Now let's look at another video. All right. So what makes a healthy relationship and how have you applied that personally? Especially during COVID. Vodka.
And wine.
Vodka and wine. Why?
For me, it's meditating. Calms your nerves. When you get to my age, you don't have much tolerance, so.
You get your vodka and get your wine.
Yeah, you get your wine, you get your vodka, and it makes it better, especially if you know somebody and you know the person is if they're irritable, if they're just somebody that's someone that flips off over very, very sensitive people,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So you get a drink of wine and you put some music on, you just throw
Relax.
vodka and you drink that. It's called tune them out. It's called ignore. Just smile and nod. Smile and nod. That's
like
how I
that.
do it.
Let them do their thing
To be
and
honest,
you just
yeah.
relax.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
All right. And it's helped you, would you say?
Oh, multiple times.
Perfect.
Multiple times, yeah.
All right. Last one, what would you do for love?
Anything for my son. For a man, they come a dime a dozen. So it's
Okay.
for a man, it would be, depends on the situation. I wouldn't go, maybe 5%. For my child and my family, I would do 100% and I would do anything. Yeah. And I can love you today and then when I break up with you in 5 years, I don't know your last name. So, I mean, if your child, if it's your parents or your brother and sister, that's
They're
different.
attached,
That's
yeah.
bonded, right?
Yes.
So family is first. So for sure, for family, you do anything. There's no limit for that. my personal view of love is sacrifice. You know, so you got to be willing to sacrifice anything if you love that person to the depths. So
I love that. Thank you for your honesty. How can you learn to accept all of this being, right? All of this person as they are, through their stress, through their tension, through their irritability, right? And still maintain a great relationship. And that starts with you. What are you willing to do to keep this relationship strong? What are you willing to do to keep yourself strong, right? What conditions do you need to put yourself in to be able to surmonter these obstacles? Because I see it as a test, right? There's all these things that will always happen in life that test your relationship, because you guys need to prove that you love each other. I think that's the first thing that couples need to be aware of. As soon as we vow that this is for better or for worse, as soon as we vow that we will have this child and raise this child together, as soon as we vow that we will be there for each other, for this house, for whatever. So I'm talking about common law, mama, baby daddies, marriage, right? As soon as you guys make a promise to each other, then you need to be ready and prepared for the tests that will come, and make sure that you guys are able to prove that, right? You will always get challenges to prove that you're truly in love with this person as they are. And that's the beauty of getting to know each other, right? So are you seeing the beauty in the obstacles? Or are you just seeing the obstacle as, shit, this person is pissing me the hell off and I don't want to have to deal with this shit? What benefits people is if you love them unconditionally, you love them as they are, you love them for who they are, no matter how yucky it is. Because if you can accept how beautiful everything is, then you can accept how yucky things are. If you can eat a beautiful, amazing, nutritional meal, then you can accept that you're going to poop it out 2 hours later, okay? So you have to be ready for the light and the shadow. You have to be ready for the ups and the downs, because that's what you're committing to when you go into a relationship. And when you don't take relationships seriously, then you're not seriously committing to the benefit and the growth of this person. So why are you wasting their time, right? And there's always a lesson to be learned during a relationship, obviously, but you don't want to waste anybody's time either, please. Time is precious. Time is all we have, unless you're at work. All right. So the question by the end of the video is it your perspective of the relationship? Do you see this relationship being lovely, beautiful, passionate, exciting all the time? Do you feel like it needs to be adventurous all the time? And if that's the case, then are you addicted to adrenaline? Because you could be addicted to instant gratification, adrenaline, to a rush, right? And if you are addicted to a rush, then you need to question yourself about what you need to do about that. Do you need to be with somebody that's compatible and that loves that same rush as you? And if you are with someone that's always in such a rush, what does that mean for your life goals? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for how you're going to act in the world?
What make a healthy relationship? I think love, trust, and honesty, and friendship.
Love, trust, honesty, friendship. What would you do for love?
Everything.
Everything?
Treat a woman right. Everything.
Treat a woman right.
Start. If I not trust again, I start over.
Okay. I like that. So everything, and if you don't get it right, you try again.
Try. Never give up.
Never give up. How many of you can truly say that you will never give up? Remember, these are stories that will accumulate in your life, guys, because as you grow old together, you're going to look back and you'll be like, oh shit, do you remember that pandemic? Do you remember how annoying you were? I almost killed your ass. But if you have friendship, and how many friendships don't have love, right? You must have love in your friendship, or else you have a hater that's by your side, right? So if you have friendship, it's a lot easier to go through those tough times together. So what makes a healthy relationship, and how have you applied it personally? So we can start with one of you and then go to
I think communication is the best way for a relationship, because you gotta be able to talk to your spouse or whoever you're into, and honestly, that's like the number one thing for me is communication. Be able to know them personally, and know what makes them uncomfortable, makes them comfortable, all that. So
yeah, I would have to say also communication, but also being able to talk about the things that you can't really with others. So make sure you're able to say anything to whoever you're with. So.
Okay, I like that. Anything else? Communication key. And what would you do for love?
Oh, I go first. What would I do for love? I think it's more off the moment thing, but Pretty much anything.
Anything for love?
Yeah, because love doesn't just apply to your spouse; it also applies to your family.
Yeah.
I'd do anything for family.
You do Squid Games. For love.
Yeah.
Squid Games for love. Yeah.
Yeah? Squid Games for love. I love it. Thank you, guys.
Right? So those are stories that you can look back on and you can be like, shit, I don't regret going through that time with you. But don't sit down, don't look at me, don't look at other people and say all these beautiful words of what a healthy relationship looks like if you're not willing to put the work in. If you guys notice, the only person that has said, what would you do for love, is the first person, right? The first man who said nothing. He's the only one that said that there is nothing to be done for love because all there is love. And I want to talk about that because all these beautiful words like respect, communication, trust, and even, having a bad perspective of relationships like the female, nobody gets to the core of love, right? Because she said for her son, she would do anything, right? But a man comes a dime a dozen. But so do sons. There are a lot of sons out there in the world, right? That their mother would do anything for them, right? So that starts to create a clash when you have all these people that would do things for their own family, that would do things for their loved ones, but then that look at another and then deem that that other doesn't deserve their love that they would give to blood. And that's what I feel is the issue. People don't take relationships seriously. And I did talk about that in the situationship video. But people see relationships as things that can be easily broken, things that can come and go. Whereas, yes, we have relationships everywhere. We have relationships with everything. But we need to tend to those relationships in order to see them grow. And what do we need to see that grow, right? So what do we need to see a plant grow? You guys know I love this metaphor. It's just so easy. Babies and plants are the easiest way to explain to you guys that we need certain conditions in order to grow, right? And even through the harshest conditions, the strong plants are still able to crack still able to bloom through the cracks and create something because they got the rain they needed, they got the sun they needed, they got the air they needed, they got everything that they needed in order to allow them to grow. And what do humans need to grow? Love. We know that because babies, they are in your stomach for 9 months, right? And for 9 months they're receiving all the nutrients that they need from their mother. When during conception, you need love making to happen, right? People say sex, but sex, what is sex? Making love. And a lot of you, go back to my situationship video, a lot of you want to remove the love part from sex, but it's impossible because there's a sense of love that goes into the action of having a baby. But nobody talked about love in the videos. And even when I did my Bursting with Energy relationships, nobody said love. And they said because it's a given. But if it's a given, why is there a lot more separations happening, right? And so I'm going to read an article for you guys from Montreal Gazette about what they had to say of relationships and how, for better or for worse, is being tested during the pandemic. All right, so let us go. The pandemic acts like an accelerant, said Dr. Janet Takif-Man, a Montreal clinical psychologist whose private practice includes many couples. For those who have a good marriage, the pandemic has taken it up a notch. For those who had cracks in their relationships, the cracks have widened. The pandemic definitely has an active impact. In a survey by l'Ordre des Psychologues du Québec of its members last October, 44% of respondents reported an increase in clients seeking therapy for relationship issues. It was the most common reason after anxiety and depressive symptoms for seeing a psychologist. More than 22% of respondents said they had noted an increase in breakups, either separation or divorce, among clients since the start of the pandemic last March. Chronic stress has an impact on a couple. And certainly the pandemic is a huge stressor. With anxiety about everything from illness and job loss to their children's schooling, increasing tensions, and exasperating relationship issues for many couples. If people feel bad themselves, it affects the relationship. And that's why I was saying you need to be aware of the self and your feelings and your perspective and how that's contributing to the loss of the love, the loss of the passion, the loss of the relationship, the loss of the communication. Chronic stress can make us more irritable and more likely to explode in front of our partner. People are feeling more fragile, right? So knowing that your child, let's say, is feeling a lot more fragile during the pandemic, you would tend to that child and give them what they need in order for them to feel secure during that time. Why are couples not doing that when it comes to relationships? Where is the love going? Why is it dying? And that's why I said it's easier said than done, because we have all this communication, we have all this trust, we have all this cooperation, we have all this honesty, but where is the love for insecurity? Where is the love for vulnerability? Where is the love for the shadow self, right? Why are we hiding parts of ourselves? And then when we see those parts of ourselves, we run from that person, right? This is the person that you said that you love. This is the person that you said you would be by their side no matter what, right? So now that that their stress has turned externally and can sometimes be directed at you, what are you scared of? What are you afraid of, right? Can you look that fear? Can you look that insecurity? Can you look that vulnerability in the eyes and be like, you know what? I've decided that I love these parts of you and that I will share these parts of you with you so that we can grow stronger as a couple. And that's why certain couples are actually coming together and are able to overcome that, because they're bringing lightheartedness into it. They're bringing tolerance into it. They're bringing acceptance into it. They're bringing joy into it because they accept those parts of their partner. They understand that there's certain external factors that can put stress on the internal factors, and that those internal factors can impact a relationship. So there's always a source. If you're not willing to go through 30, 40, 50, 60 years with the same person, saying that this is the person that I want to be with, this is the person that I want by my side, this is the person that I want to journey with through my ups and through my downs. Because if you want to journey by yourself through your downs, then go do that by yourself. Okay? If you truly can't deal with this person when they're down, then you know what? Get the hell out of there. You know, that's a life lesson too. That's a life lesson too. But how can you learn from that and bring that into your next relationship? Because we always want to do better with where we're moving forward to, right? So that would be, in this case, a next relationship or a relationship with yourself. What did it teach you about yourself? I learned so much about myself during trying to be a full-time entrepreneur. It was hard as fuck, guys. It's still hard as fuck. But I learned my downs. I learned what rock bottom was for me. I learned my highs. I learned a bunch of stuff about myself, right? That now I can take into my next chapter of life and grow from that, which is what we want, right? Because we want to grow and we want to put that knowledge into the community. We want to put that knowledge into the family. We want to put that knowledge into our system so that we are truly healthy. And that's what a healthy relationship is, right? So the question was, again, is it the relationship that's the problem? Or is it your perspective of what a relationship should be that's the problem?
So what makes a healthy relationship and how have you applied it personally?
I think communication. If I'm always honest with a person, then I guess we'll build a good relationship. We'll just grow together.
Mm-hmm. So communication?
Yeah.
How have you applied that personally?
I guess every time I have a problem, I have to talk to the person. I'm not gonna keep it to myself. Mm-hmm. I think it's just important for me, especially if I value my relationship with that person. Then it's really
important.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you. And what would you do for love?
Anything except for killing anything illegal, but I don't know.
It could be intimate, it could be family. What do you feel like you would do for them?
My gosh, if I were rich, I would do anything for them, pay them their trip, pay the housing, pay anything they need to, so they wouldn't work anymore, because they've done so much for me. So
love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
Bottom line is relationships are complicated and the world is forever changing. So it's not really about all these beautiful words that we say. It's truly about what is the intention behind your love. Where does your love stem from? What is the source that is pushing your love for this person or for yourself? And how can you combine those two things to be harmonious in this relationship? So I hope this video answered a lot of questions that you guys had. Please put it in the comment section if there's something else that you guys want me to touch on. We will be doing a lot more of these and going out in the street, seeing what people have to say about different aspects of life. So I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.